Good morning. Thank you for joining me. If you are, in fact, joining me live, please feel free to say hello so that I know I'm not on my own and so that I know that everything's working fine. You can see and hear me okay. Likewise, if you're watching retrospectively, that's cool too. There's going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions, even if you didn't make the live event. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Pip, and I founded Technology Triumphs 4 years ago now to help home educated learners get recognised qualifications in creative subjects. So if you haven't seen one of these lives this week, this is actually our third instalment of kind of like an open day week where I'm discussing each of our provisions in turn. So Monday we covered cookery and cake decorating, level 1 and 2 qualifications. Yesterday we did mixed media, again level 1 and 2 qualifications. Today is slightly different because we're going to be looking at our entry level qualifications. So these aren't GCSE level qualifications, so they might be more suitable for learners who aren't yet ready for that stage, or perhaps really reluctant writers who just want to do some crafting, perhaps have a certificate at the end of it that is an NCFE certificate, but doesn't necessarily count in terms of like a GCSE level qualification. So I'm going to show you some of that. I'm going to show you what the qualification looks like, but also explain how it works. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of one of our workbooks. And we're very lucky because one of our learners has volunteered some of her work for us to have a look at as well. So I'm going to be showing you that too. Whilst I'm rambling on, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the dialogue box. I'll monitor it as I go. I'll make sure I check questions at the end as well. There's no such thing as a silly question. There's a good chance that whatever you ask, somebody else is also wondering the same thing. So please feel free to put any comments or questions in there as well. So I'm just going to share screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so if you have seen one of our lives before this week, you'll already be familiar with how we actually run the qualification. So you don't necessarily need to watch this bit. You could go and get yourself a drink if you want, or if you want to recap, then that's what we're about to do. So hopefully now you can see a screen that says Technology Triumphs and NCFE. NCFE is the awarding body that we work with. You've probably heard of awarding bodies such as OCR and Edexcel, AQA. NCFE is one of the lesser known ones, but it is one that's used in schools and colleges. It's actually, I think, the oldest awarding body, and it's based up north somewhere. But they're an awarding body that I've worked with in schools previously, as has Debs, our textiles leader. So we're familiar with the specifications, but there's a real good reason we are working with these specifications in particular. So probably not most, but a lot of creative people tend to be dyslexic. Debs and I ourselves are dyslexic, so it's to do with how the brain works. Now, these specifications, the NCFE specifications, have no bearing on spelling and grammar. So your spelling and grammar is not assessed when we look at your work. It's all about knowledge and skills and what you make and create. So that was important to us as dyslexic learners, but also because it works better for creative learners, and that's what we're doing, creative subjects. So that's who we work with. We've got approval directly under them. So we don't have to find an external exam centre. You don't have to sit as an external exam candidate anywhere else. We have that approval. So you do your qualification, your whole course through us, and you get the qualification from us as well, which means everything is included in the price of the course. There's no nasty surprises at the end of it. And I'll talk about the price a little later on and how we've made that quite flexible and affordable for families as well. So the entry level award, like I say, this is a qualification that tends to be rolled out in schools and colleges for learners who are not going to be able to achieve a GCSE level qualification. So they might be GCSE age, but for whatever reason, they're not going to achieve a level 1 or 2 qualification, but they need some recognition for the work they've done. So that's what an entry level award tends to be set out to do. With the creative craft, because the focus is on making something, it allows a lot younger learners to get involved. So my 9-year-old son, for example, is working his way for the entry level award. Younger learners as well can participate, and older learners as well. And the whole course, we've actually designed it so there's 3 entry certificates you can get. And we've designed the course so that you can get all 3 of those. So at the end of the course, if you've completed the whole thing, you'll end up with 3 entry-level certificates. So how does it actually work? So again, if you're not familiar with me, you won't know this story. I'll cover it very quickly. I started off private tuition for 5 children around my dining room table. I was still working in a school at the time, and quickly realised that there actually isn't really many options, if any, for learners to get formal qualifications in creative and practical subjects if they're not going to mainstream schools. Because of the coursework element, you need a teacher to be able to assess that coursework. And generally speaking, for DT type subjects, there's a written exam as well. So that's why we sought to get NCFE approval ourselves, so that we could be that option for home edding learners. So I started off with those 5 learners, and I had a family approach me asking if I would consider putting the provisions online because they couldn't travel to get to me to do the tuition. And initially I thought it wouldn't be possible. Thought about it for a little while, spoke to NCFE, and we found a way that enables us to deliver these courses remotely, which not only enables me to help more people, but it means that we can bring the price right down. Because if you're familiar with the cost of tuition on a one-to-one basis, you know how high, or even small group basis, you know how expensive that can be. And it doesn't necessarily include an actual qualification at the end of it. You have to pay for that on top elsewhere. So we have put all of our courses online now, and I'm going to show you our actual workbooks. So with the entry-level qualification, it's a course that's designed to be completed in a year. There are 6 workbooks to complete in that time. Now, how the courses work is that when you enroll and start the course, you get a login, which will give you access to our learning portal, and your whole course is already on there waiting for you. It's basically like a big storage unit, and it allows us to share big amounts of data, because obviously when we're working with images, it takes up a lot of space. If we were to send this out via email, it would bounce back, it wouldn't come through, and it just wouldn't work. So we're on our learning portal, which is actually run by NCFE, and your whole course will be there. You'll be able to download your workbooks, work on them from your own device, and then when you're ready to submit your work, you upload it on your portal, and that comes straight through to us. Within a week, we mark your work, and we create some written feedback for you, which could be handy for other reasons as well, but it's a necessary part of the course for us to be able to assess, obviously, and get the qualification at the end. We upload the feedback sheet to the portal as well, sitting alongside your completed work. So that's how it works. But as I've mentioned, I spoke about exams and DT exams. There is no exam involved with this. All of our qualifications are portfolio assessed, which is so good for so many reasons. One, if you're anything like me, you don't perform well under pressure, and the idea of an exam on a particular day and being able to just pull it out the bag on that day can be quite daunting. So that's eliminated, and that stress is taken away straight away. Also, it doesn't make sense for creative subjects to have a written exam. Yes, we need to know that you have the knowledge, but you can show us the knowledge in a variety of ways. It doesn't have to be memorizing answers to questions. So portfolio assessment makes much more sense for us as well. And in terms of the fact that if there was an exam, so if you are working towards other qualifications where there is an exam, you know that for the most part, you're restricted to a certain time, and you have to be ready for that exam on that day. Now, a whole manner of things can go wrong. You could be ill on that day, for example, or it's just that you haven't had enough time to prepare for the exam. It's snuck up on you, or other things have happened in your life. Because we're portfolio based, and because the way that we run our qualifications, we don't actually have an end point for the qualification. So although I said it runs over 12 months, if you need longer to complete it, you can take as much time as you need. So there isn't that pressure. If you have other things crop up in your life, I don't know, you're going traveling for a month, or you've had a bit of illness or a bereavement or anything like that, your work can take a back step, and it can make way for everything else that's going on in your life. So it allows for that flexibility as well. Now, the way we assess your work is through a variety of mediums. So there are minimal amounts of written work in the entry level, really minimum amounts. It's mostly tick box exercising, but we assess your work both based on photographic evidence. So we ask you to photograph your work, whether it's design work or what you've made, and you send it to us, and we call it as our photo gallery. So it's almost like an electronic portfolio that you can send you that shows the story of your learning over that workbook. And then at the end of the course, we ask for a video log to be completed. Now, this is a necessary part of the course for us to be able to protect the integrity of the qualification, but also so that we can evidence to NCFE that the worker has done the work themselves. So it's just a little video log right at the end of the course where we can identify the learner, can see them doing some of the work, and perhaps have them speak on camera. If that is an issue at all for any of your learners, please don't write this off, because we have been able to help a huge number of learners who thought that actually that wasn't going to be possible for them. We've found other ways around it, and we can guide you through that as well. So if you are worried that the video log could trip up your learner, maybe because of anxiety, please get in touch, because trust me, they would not be in a small minority. There's been a few learners that have struggled with this, and we've been able to get them over that obstacle in order for them to get a qualification. So how it works and what we provide. So we've got the engaging workbooks, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. We've got pre-filmed tutorials, and this is where that flexibility comes in to play. You're not obligated to log on to a particular lesson or day of the week in order to be able to access the tutorials. They have already been filmed for you, and they're provided as links within the workbook, which is what allows this complete flexibility. So if you wanted to zoom through the course because you're just focusing on this qualification and no other work at the time, you can finish earlier than the 12 months. If you, like I said before, need to take longer, you won't have missed anything. There's no such thing as catching up. We're really keen to highlight that we don't really believe in deadlines. We don't believe that learners fall behind, because everyone's on their own learning journey. And we're very aware that a lot of providers and a lot of qualifications can't provide that flexibility. So we're more than happy to be the ones that can do that and can take that back seat when you need it. For example, you've got other exams coming up. You also get assessor support. So on your login, on your portal, as well as having the course, you have a direct line to your assigned assessor. So you've got a messaging service that you can message them. It might be for technical help, or it might be because you're stuck on a particular task and you need some guidance with it. So you can message at any time of the day. Obviously, your assessor might not be able to respond straight away, but they will be able to get back to you and provide that support to you. Now, if you're on Facebook, you might have already seen our closed Facebook groups. So for each qualification, there's a dedicated closed Facebook group with more support materials within it. So if you haven't seen it already and you're interested in this qualification, look for the Technology Triumphs entry-level creative craft qualification, and you'll be able to gain access to that group. Just request to join, we'll let you in. And within that, in that file section, you'll have some more information, including the information pack, which I'm going to show you a sneak preview of here. On top of that, we have a Pinterest page where we've created lots of boards for our qualifications. If you're not familiar with Pinterest, it's a really great visual research kind of starting point for learners. So we've pinned lots of resources that we think would be useful. And on top of that, we run termly awards on our Facebook page. So each half term I go live, and based on the work that we've seen come in, based on the assessment, we'll give out awards for resilience, effort and achievement. But perhaps more importantly, we welcome nominations and invite nominations for parents and for facilitators, from parents and facilitators, because you guys on the front line are the ones who are best placed to say what your learner has done that's an achievement. So we recognize, like I say, everyone's going on their own learning journey, and something that might seem insignificant to one person could be really important to somebody else. For example, they've overcome something that was a real obstacle for them, and it's a big deal for them. We want to recognize that. So we invite nominations in, and we give out certificates and prizes in the post as well. Right, I'm going to show you the information pack now that I just mentioned. Like I say, if you've got any questions, please feel free to pop in the box. I'm going to keep checking. Okay, information pack. Here we go. So this, don't feel like you've got to note this down or memorize all this. This pack is in the entry level closed group, so you can go in and have a look at that. I just wanted to give you an overview of what the course covers. So like I said, it's 6 workbooks, and they're broken up into 3 specialisms. So if you're familiar with school systems, a bit like a design technology carousel. So we do mixed media, which covers lots of different materials, textiles and cookery. And you do 2 projects on each of them. So first project is mixed media model making. So you learn about making armatures and creating little models, and then a set for the model. So this gets you really familiar with the processes. It's a nice, basic, simple project. The second project, which is probably my favorite, is the sewing and felting. So this is a textiles project. You'll learn about properties of fabrics and develop sewing skills before making your own zombie toy. I'm going to show you that workbook in a minute because I do think it's my favourite. The next project is the cookery one, where you learn about cake decorating techniques and make batches of biscuits and cookies using those. Module 4 is mosaics and collage, so mixed media again. So this is working to create a self-portrait using collage. Number 5 is textiles, again, looking at fashion design. So we look at upcycling products, making them jazzing clothes up, for example, tie-dyeing and applique techniques before you then upcycle an item of your own choice. It doesn't have to be clothing, it could be any textile item. And then finally, the last cookery section is bread. So it's a range of sweet and savoury bread products that the learners will learn how to make and create. So those are the things we're going to cover. Like I said, really wanted to show you the actual workbook so you can get a feel for what it looks like and if it would work for your learner. So I'm going to share screen now to our workbook 2, which was the little textiles project, the little zombie project. I see just a question just popped up. I'm just going to address that, sorry. On your termly awards, I wanted to pop on and say a big thank you for Joss's Achiever Award last term. We've just had his EHCP, and whilst his progress is much slower, his achievements were recognised by you, and we were able to show that to his case officer. Oh, wow. Oh, I just got a shiver down my spine. Thank you for sharing that, Diane. That's amazing. Oh, I don't know what to say to that. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm going to go on and show the, where were we? Share screen with you for the workbook. Here we go. So this is what they look like, our workbooks, really bright and colourful, engaging. We've designed these for visual learners. I think most people would describe themselves as visual learners. So hopefully it takes away some of the battle that some people might feel with getting their learner to engage with work. I know I have it with my 9-year-old sometimes. A lot of time every day. So you can see the colourful, lots of graphics, but every now and then you get a little link that takes you to our YouTube tutorials. Now, if you want to have a look at those tutorials, we have made them public for everybody to use. We want them to, like I say, we're keen to help as many learners as we can. So if you can't afford doing one of these formal qualifications, you might be able to work your way through some of the content. Obviously, you won't have access to the workbooks, but there's content there for teaching and learn about different things. So in this example, it would be learn about the properties of fabrics and fibers. So you just click on the tutorials, follow the tasks. It tells you exactly what to do and get on with your work. Now, as you can see, in this workbook in particular, there is no written tasks, so to speak. There's nothing to fill in. Some of our courses, you do have boxes that you need to click and type onto, but these qualifications really are about knowledge and skills and applying those skills to make things. So the way that you present that to us is in the photo gallery. Now I'm going to show you our example that our young learner has very kindly allowed us to share with you. Now, this is a really high level example. Let me just see if I can find it. Where are we? Share it with you. Oh, no. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, technical glitch. Okay, hopefully you can share, you can see a PowerPoint presentation. Can someone just confirm that to me? Because it looked slightly different to me. Can we see something that says entry-level creative craft as a PowerPoint? Is anyone able to comment and just confirm that for me before I start rambling on? Yes, awesome. Okay, so this is an example of the work completed towards that workbook 2. So Madison has very kindly shared this with us. Mum's given permission as well. So a little bit of research work on the properties of fibres, but then it's basically like a journal, a photo journal of all the work she's done within this workbook. I'm just waiting for my computer to catch up with me. Struggling a little bit today. So we could see, I mean, this is a really good example of putting together a photo gallery. So I can see that learning journey that Madison has gone on. She's showing me step by step all the things she's doing. She's got a design working, and these are beautiful designs, and with labeling as well. So if you are familiar with the DT curriculum, particularly Key Stage 3, this will look quite familiar to that. She's done some amazing work. I mean, look at that detail. And that was just a practice sample. That wasn't the real thing. She then goes on to design her own zombie. And these are brilliant illustrations before taking one through. So it's going through the whole design cycle. We've done a bit of research at the beginning, doing a bit of testing and modeling, then designing, and then actually making a final product. And there it is. Isn't that cool? Love it. So my son's got stuck after workbook 1. He's just got into a bit of a slump with his work, basically. But I'm going to be showing him this PowerPoint because this is definitely going to inspire him for workbook 2. And then a tiny little evaluation at the end Madison's done as well. So that is the whole design cycle. How awesome is that? So where are we? I need to find you again now. Awesome. Right. That was pretty much all I came here to say, was to show you how the course works and demonstrate what it looks like. But also, obviously, need to tell you about what it costs. As I said, it's only over 12 months, this one. All our other courses are over 24 months because they're higher level qualifications. So this might be a good one in terms of, one, if you've got a much younger learner who isn't ready for the level 1. 2, if you've got a reluctant writer, again, who isn't ready for a level 1 because of the written aspects, this will be good for them. I find receiving a formal qualification in the post can be quite motivating. So if you are keen to sort of get them ready for a level 1, this could really help prepare them for that. Plus, they would be used to all the systems because they've practiced it on the entry level before they jump into a level 1, or maybe skip that and even go to a level 2 qualification. But also, this course might be better if you're looking at a cheaper alternative to our level 1s or 2s. Because it's only 12 months and only 6 workbooks, then obviously it isn't going to cost as much in terms of us assessing it. So let me just go back to my other share screen. So the subscription plan is for 12 months, and it's at £20 a month. So that makes it £240 as a total cost. Now, as I mentioned before, we think flexibility is key. So we've designed the course so that you can pick it up and put it down whenever it suits you. You don't have to be online at a particular time of day or anything like that. Flexibility is key, but we apply that as well to the payments. As we recognise, well, as a home editing mum myself, I get it that there's a lot that we have to pay out for. Also recognise that actually we never know what's around the corner. And with the financial climate the way it is now, and a lot of uncertainty with people with the energy prices and all the rest of it. I mean, this is something we've been doing from day dot. We've always offered the subscription plan, but I think it's even more important now. There's a no obligation subscription plan. So if at any point you change your mind for any reason, it might be that your learner isn't engaging with the work. It might be that you're sending them into a school. It might be that money is just getting tighter. You can cancel it immediately, and we just require 3 days working notice to be able to cancel the subscription before the next payment is taken. But you don't have to give us any justification. We do not judge you. We're happy to provide that for you, because again, other learning providers aren't willing or able to do that. So you don't have to pay for the course up front. Some people do. Some people prefer to pay up front. I know people with EHCPs, for example, with the OTUS packages, might need to pay for it up front. That's fine. We can put something in place for that. But otherwise, when you book onto your course, you're asked to subscribe, and that's setting up this payment plan, which can be cancelled at any point, which I think takes a lot of pressure off for people, especially if you're just delving into starting courses with your learner and you don't know what they're going to work well with. So it gives you that opportunity to try it without committing to the full cost of it. Now, the other thing that's really good about this is that we provide the option of you, if you do cancel your plan, we keep a record of all the payments you've already made. And if you ever want to come back to it, you can, and you're not penalised in any way. So you just pick up from where you left off and you continue with the payments. Now, I said earlier that if you need to take longer than 12 months to complete the course, that's absolutely fine. What I didn't say is that actually the amount you pay doesn't change. You don't pay any more. So you don't keep paying month on whilst your learner completes the course. Once your payment plan is finished and you've paid the full £240, subscription stops, and you are free to keep submitting the work long after that payment has stopped being taken. As far as we're concerned, we see that as our contractual obligation to you to continue to assess the work that comes in. So there is that as an option. Again, if you need to pause, come back to it. Maybe you've got, again, holiday time coming up and you need to free up that money for other things, and you know that you're not going to be doing much of the work anyway, you can just cancel it and come back when it suits you at one of our free enrolment points. So we enroll every September, and for a January start and for an April start. They're the 3 points in the year that you can start. Like I say, no obligation, no minimum and maximum age. So I didn't mention this. So as I said, obviously there are certain learners that or a guidance we would give. So I would say 8+ is a good guidance. But actually, if you've got a younger learner than that, and we do have younger learners working through the course who are really passionate about crafts, and you have got a bit of time to be able to sit with them and do the work with them, then feel free to look in the closed group at the sample sessions and look at the language used, see if you think they can access that, or just get in contact with us and ask us what we think. There's also no maximum age. So like I said, this was designed for GCSE aged learners that weren't able to achieve a level 1 or 2. But actually, there's no maximum age. If you want to have a go at it, with our level 2 qualifications in particular, we do have mums or dads enrolled and working through the course content alongside their learner. So that is also an option. The next level, so what would you do after you've done the entry level? Well, the natural progression, if you've done the entry level, would be to go to a level 1 qualification. You might find that having done the entry level, that actually your learner's ready for the level 2 qualification. So particularly if you've got older learners that you're really trying to encourage engaging with some more formal work, but then you know that level 2's out of their reach right now, perhaps then doing the entry level gets them into a routine, gets them familiar with us, the way we work, and then getting that certificate motivates them enough that they might be able to jump straight to the level 2. And we can advise and guide you on that as well, if that is the case. So that's pretty much it. This is some feedback from some of our learners' parents off of Facebook. I won't read it out to you because that's a bit patronising. But I'm just going to check to make sure there's no more questions coming in, and just say that was pretty much all I came online to say. So if you have got a question, quickly type it now. If you're watching this retrospectively and you think of something, then please feel free to pop it in the box. We're going to be monitoring the comments over the next few days, allowing people the chance to catch up. If you want to ask a private question, you can DM us, or if you want to speak to me directly, email is the best way of getting hold of me at technologytriumphs@outlook.com. If you haven't seen the Cookery or Mixed Media lives and you would want to, they are sitting on our Facebook page. So if you have a learner that might be ready for a level 1 or 2 qualification, just scroll through from Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow we've got Debs doing a live at a different time. It's going to be 2 p.m. and she's going to be speaking about our level 1 and 2 qualifications in textiles, and I believe showing you some examples of the work there as well. So feel free to join us for those. If you know of anybody who is interested or could be interested in these qualifications, feel free to share the word. We believe that Facebook is doing okay financially, so we don't like paying for adverts, and we rely on personal recommendations. I would say 99% of our bookings comes through personal recommendations. So thank you to those people that do get the word out there. It means a lot to us. We do care. We're not this big corporation. We are a very small group of passionate people that actually care about young people. I should have said this at the start. We're made up of we're a few teachers, ex-teachers, working at various levels, primary and secondary, home editors as well. So I was a teacher, I was a head of DT, but now I home ed my children too. Home editors as well. And we've got one person who's our creative consultant and creates some of our content, who was a home editor. No, she was a home educated. So yeah, a bit of a mix, but all people that care about helping young people fulfill their potential and achieve qualifications in subjects that they don't get the same opportunities necessarily as those learners who attend mainstream schools. So that's who we are. That's what our entry level qualification looks like. If you have any questions, if I've missed anything, like I say, feel free to get in touch. Another thing, you could join the entry level closed group. There are some parents and learners already on there, so you can ask their opinion on the course as well if you want to do that. But like I say, in the file section of the closed group, you'll have access to the information pack and a sample session, so you can give it a go with your learner as well. I will leave it there. I feel like I've taken enough of your time. Can't see any more questions have come in. which I'm going to see as a good thing. Maybe I covered it all. And like I say, it'd be great if you are making our live tomorrow. Until next time, see you later.